Oh, you there? Oh, hey, hey. BC Starks here, guys. How's it going? Let me get this right. Okay. Yeah, so I'm coming to you because I wanted to do a video. Sorry, let me look here. Here. I wanted to do a video on something that I've been inspired to talk about because it's been the theme of this month. I know a lot of people that are experiencing it, some close friends and relatives, and I've been there a time or two myself. So it's the topic of love and relationships, and basically it's a discussion of whether or not it's possible to build or bring back together a relationship that might have been quote unquote destroyed by miscommunication, infidelity, or cheating, disrespect, and all the things that can take place during the course of a relationship, especially if there is no like basic line of communication whenever situations arise or someone wants to express themselves. So before I begin, I want to give you just a little background as to why I started to wanting to talk about this. And it has to do with basically this month has been the theme of love and relationships for me. I told you guys that I've always wanted to be a bit of a life coach, and I've kind of been thrust into that the past couple of weeks, and I love it because I'm just so blessed that people trust me with this kind of information, or they even trust my insight, or just whatever thoughts I have about something. But clearly I don't know it all. Clearly I don't claim to have all the answers, but at the same time, it's been coming to me on multiple occasions. And so here is a little bit of an introduction that I want to share with you that I wrote, and it's actually on my Instagram page. If you don't follow me on Instagram yet, follow me at BCSTARKS. That's BCSTARKS, and it's just that, BC Starks. On there, I post a little bit of my life. I don't know if I never really get too personal, but I do share like some family pictures. I do share inspirational quotes or things that inspire me. So feel free to follow, and from now on, I'm going to be posting updates for when I do videos. Here's what I wrote on Instagram. I said, the theme of this month has been the idea of relationships ending because of mistrust, infidelity, disrespect, and lack of communication. Many wonder, is it possible to bounce back from these things? My response is absolutely. You just have to be willing to evolve and grow past the hurt and the pain. There are plenty of couples in society that are an example of overcoming storms in relationships only to grow into something more powerful than ever before. Yes, it's possible if both people are willing to go through the transformation and seek counsel from professionals that can help them experience the necessary breakthroughs. I really truly believe this. And also, unlike what society has been pushing, the sense of if it doesn't work out, we could just break up, or if it's not working out for me, I should just run and end it all and move on to someone else. Well, if you don't fix certain problems within yourself, no matter who you're dating, you can always run into the same problems, and it'll just be the same story with a different person. You know what I mean? Anyways, to be continued. It says, also, unlike what society has been pushing, sometimes it's worth growing through a storm and getting through something with someone so that you can ultimately see how strong you are as a unit. A unit that could stand the test of time because it was able to overcome the darkest of storms. Magic and Cookie did it. Vanessa and Kobe did it. Bill and Hillary did it. Will and Jada. The list goes on. But they all did it with love. And so can you. You don't always have to look for the exit door. Sometimes timing is just off and you find yourself in different places in your journey. But it doesn't mean that you can't get back on the same page and begin to see eye to eye and rebuild the foundation brick by brick. That was a lot. But basically, what I was trying to say in that message is that anything is possible to bounce back from. You know, many times we think that if the relationship isn't going the way we want it to go, then this person must not be right for me. And that could be the case. And that could be very well the best solution for you at that time. But it isn't always the case. And I think that if there is, foundationally, if there is a sense of love there, then if you feel that it's worth it to peel back the layers of what is there, to uncover some of the hurt and pain, so that perhaps, you know, you as well as that person can work on healing it, it's very possible to grow through things. I have not grown up in a home where my mother and father stayed together. So I basically grew up in a single parent home, but it doesn't limit the fact that I've been exposed to couples who have been through tremendous amounts of things, and till this day they basically vow that the reason they are still together is because they were willing to grow through it. They weren't willing to, you know, basically the whole fight or flight instinct where it's like, oh, it's not going the way I wanted to, let's get a divorce. But, you know, back in the day, relationships were more than just, you know, the superficial, more than just the surface things. People weren't just being so selfish only to want to get out of it what they could get out of it and then leave. People were willing to work through things. People were willing to love one another in the way that basically that Bible love, that 1 Corinthians 13, where it talks about how love is patient, love is kind, love is not, it does not envy, it does not boast, it's not proud, it's not rude, it's not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrong. And I think that's the biggest obstacle to moving past and growing through situations, is that we find it hard to get over the way we felt that we were done wrong, or however things turned out. We find it hard to forgive. And I think that forgiveness is always the key to moving forward in any relationship. If you can will yourself to forgive someone, and that means, it doesn't mean that you'll forget what they did. It just means that you won't hold them responsible. Not responsible, I'll take that back. What's the word? It just means that you won't continuously dangle this thing over their heads, even though they've already expressed remorse, or even though they've already said their sorries. To me, when you make a vow to forgive someone, I think that it's very important that you clean the slate, like give them a clean slate, almost as if they've done nothing wrong. And it should only be when they show you that they haven't changed that you can say, hey, you're doing that thing that you said you wouldn't do, and hold them accountable for that. But don't keep bashing them across the head with things that they did in the past if you made a vow to already forgive, because that is the biggest obstacle and basically a huge hindrance to healing and moving past anything. Like, there are examples in society, unlike what we know in American society, where when things don't work out, people, you know, divorce court is racking up the bills and making so much money off of us in America. And because we've adopted and, you know, continue to adopt with younger generations this notion that, you know, if it's not working out, I could just quit. And I feel like we're so scared to push past the surface. We're so scared to see what's possible for us. We're so scared to quote unquote struggle. But if you understand the history of America, just the history of people in general, we grow the most when we struggle. We grow the most when we feel pain and hurt. We grow the most when we're willing to accept what is and then move forward and push through the layers. That's when we grow the most. And that's when you can see how strong you are. And that's when you can say to yourself and your significant other that, damn, if we can make it through all of that stuff, you know, we can overcome anything. But I'd much rather do it with you than by myself. Or I'd much rather do it with you because I know what we've come through together than to start over with someone else and, you know, have to go through all the motions with them. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, wanting to work things out and wanting to push yourself to the limit, and also challenge yourself to evolve, challenge yourself to do better, because relationships are basically a reflection for you to see who you are being in certain parts of your journey. And when you get in a relationship with somebody, I always tell people that God places you in someone's life so that you can see yourself. And I believe that every relationship we have in life is a reflection of us at any given moment of who it is we're being in that moment or in those moments. And if you can see what it is that you're being, and if you don't like it, fix it. And if you think it could be better, make it better. But if you think it's perfectly fine, then don't bend and don't flex. But don't get upset when someone doesn't accept you the way that you are in that moment. And don't, feel like you have to try to change if you feel like that's a fundamental part of your personality. But at the same time, don't be afraid to push the boundaries of what you could be, of how things could be. Challenge social norms is what I say. Be the beacon on the hill. Be the one that does things differently so that you could be an example of anything being possible for everybody else. As Maya Angelou would say, or I believe it's Maya, don't quote me on that, but I love quotes. But as someone wise once said, when you know better, you do better. That would be Maya. And also, let your light shine. When you allow your light to shine, you give others permission to do the same. And I find this to be extremely true. That's it. So I know this video, I basically went on a tangent and I touched on so many different topics that it could possibly be overwhelming for some. But I plan on reviewing this video and going back in and talking about very specific things. I did mention forgiveness. And that is a topic in and of itself, all by itself. And, as well as self-reflection and recognizing growth. And also recognizing that relationships are a reflection of who you're being. Just so you know, I'm going to put the links down to my blog because, again, I've mentioned in earlier videos that I do have a self-help blog where I talk about topics like this. And my blog has basically been around or in existence since 2011. And again, I can't recall all the topics I talk about, but I'll find the ones that relate to this particular video. And I'm going to put the links below in the description. And if you have any comments, any questions, if you have any suggestions of something that maybe I didn't touch on in this video that I could add to another video, I would be more than willing and open to talk about it. That's what I'm here for. That's why I started this channel, and that's what I see it becoming. And so thank you again for viewing, for tuning in, and stop back by because I want to hear from you. And if I feel the need to talk about something else, I will. Till then, thanks so much again, and see you next time. BC Starks, over and out.